Hello everyone and welcome to Barca News. It is February 28th, 2023 and Vitor Roque has finally broken his silence and expressed his strong desire to play for Barcelona. Also, there's a lot of strong interest currently in the Premier League to sign Abde, and Javier Tebas has finally responded to Jean Laporta's accusations. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and before we begin with the news, for all of you who haven't subscribed, I would like to invite you to please subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, it's completely free, and in doing this, you will be helping the small and humble channel continue to grow. Also, if any of you are looking to buy any Barcelona jerseys or gear, make sure you hit the kickback where they have the biggest selection of gear from all the major football leagues around the world. The link is down below in the description. Finally, for all of you who have already subscribed to the channel, I would like to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for always supporting Barca News. Now we begin with the news that preparations are currently underway as the first team are preparing to face off against Real Madrid on Thursday in the Copa del Rey semi-final, and where the team have a lot of players who are currently on the injured list, including Robert Lewandowski, Dembele, and Pedri. Now, Ansu Fati it was announced last week that Ansu Fati had suffered a knee contusion during training and that he was only going to be out for a few days, and was expected that he would be back for that Clásico match on Thursday. But it seems that Ansu Fati is yet to recover and he's still training on his own. So for now, Ansu Fati is currently a doubt for El Clásico's match, which is of course a big problem for Barcelona because they're now missing 3 players from their attack. So Xavi will most likely gonna have to count on both Ferran Torres and Rafinha. Now on to the big news that Vitor Roque has given his first interview and broken his silence, where he expressed his strong desire to play for Barcelona. Now this interview was conducted by no other than Joaquim Piera, who's a journalist based in Catalonia, and he is a specialist in the Brazil transfer market. And whenever Joaquim Piera has something to say about the Brazilian transfer market, then we all should listen, because he's always been spot on all the news that he has reported on. Now Joaquim Piera traveled to Brazil to meet with Vitor Roque, and he sat down with the player at his home, where they discussed the possibility of Vitor Roque playing for Barcelona, and where the young Brazilian star said that he was ready to face this big challenge of coming to one of the biggest clubs in the world, FC Barcelona. Now Vitor Roque said, "Competitions I played last year, the Libertadores and the Brasileiro, will help me be well prepared when I go to Europe. I am very happy to be 18 years old, which now allows me to play abroad. My goal is to continue working with humility, because with faith in God, everything will turn out well." Now Barcelona, of course, are currently in negotiation with Atletico Paranaense to try to sign Vitor Roque, who has become one of the most coveted strikers in the world. In regards to this, Vitor Roque had to say, "I try to stay focused on day-to-day and give my best at Atletico. I am sure that doing well here, going to Europe will be the result. It's not only a dream of mine, but also of any player. If the transfer to Barca comes to fruition, it will be a great joy for my family and for me. That's why I have to continue working hard and hope that everything will come to fruition over time." Now, of course, Barcelona's plans for Vitor Roque is for him to become Robert Lewandowski's replacement in the future, and the club are hoping that Vitor Roque could learn from the Polish striker as much as possible while the two are still on the same team. And once Lewandowski's contract expires, then the idea will be that Vitor Roque will become the starting center forward for Barcelona. Now, Vitor Roque was asked about Robert Lewandowski, and he said, "When I see him on TV, I always notice his great finishing power, which I think is his strong point. He is spectacular, and I followed him at Bayern Munich and now at Barcelona. If I had a footballer by my side of his level, I would try to learn as much as I could. If this ends up happening, I'm sure it will be very important for my career. It will be something wonderful." I think 2 important points to get out of this interview is, number 1, that Vitor Roque is definitely very interested in playing in Barcelona. You know, he only spoke about joining Barcelona or going to Europe to play football. He didn't mention any other clubs, despite being A lot of interest in him from different clubs all across Europe. And a second point that we can deduct from this interview is that Vitor Roque seems to be a very humble guy who's very centered on his career, because the way he's talking about wanting to work hard, about staying humble, and most importantly about learning from Robert Lewandowski, I think speaks volume about the player, because he's not coming across with that attitude that I'm the best and everybody should kiss my feet and I should be a starter at whatever team I want to go to. It's the total opposite, where Vitor Roque understands and wants to go to Barcelona to not only play there but to learn from the best, who is Robert Lewandowski, because he understands the huge benefit that would have for his career. Now, I am very curious to see what kind of effect this interview will have on the negotiations between Barcelona and Atlético Paranaense, because as I reported previously, Atlético Paranaense are asking for around 60 million euros, and then they were asking for around 40 million euros. Two price points which Barcelona are not willing to pay, because they had initially thought that they can sign a player for around 25 to 30 million euros. So now that Vitor Roque has come out and expressed publicly that he wants to go to Barcelona, we'll see whether this will put pressure on Atlético Paranaense to negotiate with Barcelona and try to bring that price down. But one thing is for sure, it looks like the negotiations are going well, because as I said at the beginning of this segment, is that Joaquim Piera is the specialist in the Brazil transfer market. And if he has taken the time to travel all the way to Brazil, sit down with the player in his home and interview him and ask him questions only about coming to Barcelona, then he must know something. And this could be a very positive signal for all of us Barcelona fans and for the club, who are hoping to see Vitor Roque at the Camp Nou. Now on to the news that there is very strong interest currently in the Premier League to sign the Moroccan winger Abde. Now Abde is currently on a 1-year loan with Osasuna, and there is no option to buy in his contract, so the player will be coming back to Barcelona. And as reported previously, the club will be listening to any good offers that they receive for Abde, given the difficult financial situation that the club are currently in. Now, there's reports that there are several clubs in the Premier League who want to sign Abde who are very impressed with the Moroccan winger, including Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, and even Chelsea. Now the idea for now is for Barcelona to incorporate both Abde and Nico into the preseason, where both players will be tested. However, if Barcelona do receive a really good offer for the player, then they will consider selling him, because Barcelona need to reduce their wage bill by 200 million euros and need to increase their revenues as much as possible so they can continue being able to sign players. Now, Barcelona think that they can get for Abde around 25 to 30 million euros. So Barcelona will hear any offer that they receive that's above the 15 to 20 million euro mark. Now on to the news that Barcelona have decided to postpone the announcement of the contract renewal of Sergio Roberto for now. Now, as I reported previously, Barcelona and Sergio Roberto reached an agreement to extend the contract of the player by one more season. And this was, of course, done per Xavi's request. And Barcelona had decided to announce this contract renewal over the weekend if Barcelona defeated Almeria. Now, since Barcelona lost to Almeria and dropped 3 crucial points that could have given them a 10-point lead over Real Madrid, Barcelona have now decided to postpone the official announcement, because they know that this is a controversial contract renewal, and they think that this is not the right time to make this announcement, and given the fans' anger over the performance of the team against Almeria and over the team's elimination in the Europa League at the hands of Manchester United. Now, as of now, we don't know when Barcelona will officially announce the contract renewal of Sergio Roberto, but there are reports estimating that Barcelona could be making this announcement Tuesday of next week. Now on to the news that Javier Tebas has finally responded to Joan Laporta's accusation that the La Liga's president has something against Barcelona and Joan Laporta himself. Now, as I reported previously, as a result of the whole scandal with the former referee Enriquez Negreira, where it was found out that Barcelona had hired him as a consultant during the years of 2016 and 2018, Javier Tebas made some controversial statements saying that Joan Laporta should resign from his post as president of Barcelona, since the club did not give any answers about what happened in the case of Negreiras. Now, this completely angered Joan Laporta, understandably so, and Joan Laporta replied to Javier Tebas saying that he had a problem with Barcelona and a personal vendetta against Laporta himself, And of course, I did report about these statements in a previous video. Well, Javier Tebas has now responded to Joan Laporta's accusation that he has something against the club and the president when he said, "Joan Laporta cannot say that there is someone in charge of financial control to whom I have told that he has to do something because I don't like Barcelona. No, I don't have it in for the club and he knows it. The rules are not from Tebas, but of all La Liga's departments. It's only a matter of complying with them." Now, despite these statements, of course, I'm not buying at all that Tebas has nothing against Barcelona, because that is not what the record of his actions prove. The record of his actions prove that he does have something against Barcelona, because as I've said many times before, when Josep Maria Bartomeu was the president of the club and he was spending hundreds of millions of euros on exorbitant transfer fees and on salaries for players that were way above market value, and when Bartomeu was spending the club's money, paying off journalists to speak good of him and paying off journalists to speak bad of players like Messi and Piqué, Javier Tebas was nowhere to be found to tell Bartomeu to stop doing those illegal acts or to stop spending so much money that was way above the financial fair play rules. But now that Joan Laporta is the president of Barcelona and he's spending the club's money responsibly and he's looking for ways to generate more income for the club so it could stay afloat economically, all of a sudden Javier Tebas is worried about every little move that Barcelona are doing, and he's constantly putting a roadblock after roadblock in Barcelona's way. And he's changed his mind several times about how much money Barcelona should reduce their salary bill by. First saying it was 100 million euros, then saying it was 200 million euros, and then saying that Barcelona cannot activate any more economic levers. Even though what Barcelona did was not illegal, they simply were selling the club's own assets to generate more funds. And I don't see why the club should not be allowed to do this. But nonetheless, we all know how Javier Tebas feels about the club, especially since he is a self-declared Madridista and he's actually a member of the Real Madrid club. So no matter how many statements he makes telling us that he doesn't have anything against Barcelona, we can all see through the BS, and we all know how he really feels deep down. Now, we will end today's video with a brief discussion of the FIFA Best Award, which Lionel Messi won for the 7th time last night. And as I reported in a video prior to that, all eyes were gonna be on both Messi and Joan Laporta, since the two were gonna be in the same room. And it seems that neither Laporta nor Messi spoke together or took a picture together, and it seemed that both of them avoided each other all night. So it seems that the relationship between Messi and Laporta is still completely broken, despite Laporta meeting with Messi's father, Jorge Messi, in order to bring their postures a little bit closer to each other. Now, speaking of the FIFA's Best Awards, it was revealed that Real Madrid's David Alaba voted for Messi to win this award over Karim Benzema. And as a result of his vote, he was attacked on social media by thousands of Real Madrid fans, calling him racial slurs and insulting him because he hadn't voted for Karim Benzema and he instead voted for Lionel Messi. Now, David Alaba has had to come out and explain his decision to vote for Messi, where he said that the Austrian team as a whole decided to vote for Messi, so he went along with them. But regardless of the explanation, I think that it's absolutely shameful for Real Madrid fans to attack David Alaba for his vote. It's shameful, first of all, that they used racial slurs just because he had a different opinion than them. And it's also absolutely shameful because they're attacking their own player for having a different opinion from them, which is absolutely unacceptable. Players should be allowed to have their own opinions, and they shouldn't be attacked for thinking differently. And that's just a reflection of what our society is unfortunately becoming, where everything is very polarized, where if you don't think the way I do, then you're an absolute idiot and I hate you, which is absolutely sad. And we should look to think, we should be more accepting of different opinions rather than attacking each other for thinking differently. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave me a like. Also, I would like to invite all of you to please leave a comment down below, giving me all your thoughts and opinions about all the news that I share with you. And finally, I would like to invite all of you to please subscribe to the channel so you can stay current on all the latest news in regards to our beloved club, FC Barcelona. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. And as always, peace, Barça.